Governor Patrick Njoroge says he is ready to face any lawsuit over the new generation banknotes. The CBK governor insists the introduction of the new notes followed due process. He spoke at a press briefing as 2 applications challenging the introduction of the notes were filed in court. But as some seek to stop the new development to visually challenged persons, the new notes offer them the best chance at attaining financial independence.
Just 2 days after the launch of the new generation banknotes, 2 petitions, one by activist Okiya Omtatah and another by East African Legislative Assembly MP Simon Mbugua, have been filed in court. Their main contention being lack of public participation and the image of founding President Mzee Jomo Kenyatta on the notes, which they argue is against the law. The central bank insists it left nothing to chance and is ready to prove it followed the law in court.
If you really think that we did the wrong thing, sure, let's go to court.
And for visually challenged persons, the new notes will be revolutionary for them. Identifying the notes currently in circulation for many of them is next to impossible.
There are no marks to show a person with visual impairment, this is the note for this value.
Many people with visual challenges have had to devise ways to enable them handle banknotes.
Some of us, you prepare yourself in the house. You tell somebody else to prepare you your pocket. You pack your notes very well. You know, this is a pocket, I have 1,000s. This next pocket, I have 50s.
But things are set to change. The new generation notes have features that can be identified by the visually challenged.
They have the word Kenya is raised. You can feel it using your fingers. Then the value of the note is also raised such that you can be able to identify the value. For example, the 50 shillings note, the 100 shillings note, and such.
They also have sidebars which indicate the value of the note.
Now, Kenya is amongst very few countries in the world that has achieved this milestone.
Having the notes which bear the features is a journey that began with petitions from visually challenged persons.
What I did in November of 2017 is to write to the central bank governor, Dr. Patrick Njoroge, and I asked him that as they're doing so, they should be able to consider. And we had an engagement, some correspondence, and then I took also the matter to Parliament, the Senate, through a petition.
With the visually challenged having to depend on aids when handling money, the new notes offer the best chance yet at financial independence.
Great. I'm seeing a feature or a great feature for the person with visual impairment in terms of especially business, because most of the businesses that you may try to do as visually impaired persons require handling of money day to day.
Rita Tinina, KTN News.
Now, you will have to explain to the Central Bank of Kenya if you hold more than 1,000 notes worth more than 1 million shillings stashed at home. CBK Governor Patrick Njoroge says a directive to withdraw the old 1,000 notes by October 2019 is meant to address illicit financial flows and counterfeits. He insists the deadline will not be reviewed despite pressure from some politicians.
Central Bank of Kenya says there are 217.6 million 1,000 notes in circulation. Some of them could be from illicit financial flows.
It's not that all those bills are involved in some sort of illicit transaction, but there is a fair amount of illicit transactions in those currencies, and that's why we want to withdraw every one of them. So it is 100%. That's the idea, all of them.
It's now more than 48 hours since CBK Governor Patrick Njoroge issued the directive. He is now having conversations with commercial bank CEOs and other financial institutions to ensure they have enough reserves.
It will take some time, though, to recalibrate some of the machines, and in particular the ATMs. So the ATMs may continue for a little longer spewing or putting out the old generation banknotes, which obviously will remain valid, including the 1,000s will remain valid until October 1.
You can deposit your 1,000 note at the commercial bank of your choice, and they will give you the new notes. This also applies if you have $1 million worth of 1,000 notes, so long as you indicate how you got the money. However, if you do not have a bank account, you have to take the money to the Central Bank of Kenya.
To do is to contact the central bank. They need to contact the central bank, and we will work with them, understand what they're involved in, understand who they are, understand how they made their money, really understand them. And then after we are done with that, we will endorse and work with them to get their money at their nearest branch, or you may say I'm talking of commercial bank branch.
So what if you do not want to bank the money, but spend it?
If indeed you spend it and buy things, if it is done in a licit way, or these are all licit transactions and proper and all that, that's not a problem. But at the end of the day, somebody will be holding that 1,000 shilling bill, and he or she will need to move it into the system in a particular way. And at that point, that's why they need to prove that hakuna shida.
Older versions of smaller denominations will remain in circulation alongside the new ones issued on June 1st over the weekend. Brenda Kirubo, KT.